guys, welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year. Appreciate everyone tuning in to watch the very first video for the new year. Stay tuned. Hopefully we get to really change it up on the SS for 2023. I have a couple things in mind. We'll get into that in this video. So I'm gonna start off by doing an oil change. There are some parts that I need to change out underneath the hood. Some parts that were damaged. So I'll get into how they got damaged and what I had to go through in order to get these parts. So I'll get to that here in a little bit. But first things first, I think we need to put the car in the center of the garage just to give me a little bit more space. And then we'll start knocking out everything. So I'm not gonna bore y'all with this, but I'm pretty much just gonna do an oil change like I said. I ended up picking up this UPF 48R oil filter. I typically use this one, the PF 48. So this is one that I pick up at Walmart all the time. But I noticed that the packaging changed. So I don't know what happened with that. Actually, I did notice the part number changed. Before it used to be PF 48E. Now the E is no longer there, so I don't know if they changed up something inside of the filter, but I have seen some guys run this one. I think this one tends to come in like the ZR1s or the Z28s, something like that, but it's a little bit different. On the inside, that's definitely different compared to this one. There we go, and there's a little bit better lighting. I think this one has like a metal core inside. But anyways, so I might be trying out this one. Hopefully gain some horsepower out of that. Just kidding. And then I always use this STP oil treatment. And then another thing that I have picked up, this is something that I've been meaning to install in the car for a very long time. But this actually goes on the transmission bell housing, so it's a cover. I believe you pop this cover off to like access some bolts. I think this piece went missing whenever we switched out the torque converter from the triple disc to the Z01 torque converter. All right, and the main reason why I'm making today's video is to show y'all this. So I need to replace these parts. Let me put this over here. All right. So these are the cowl grills, the plastic cowl grills, the left side and the driver's side, left to right, whatever, passenger, driver's side. And the main reason is because my passenger side one is damaged. So let's go over here, check that out. So from here, everything looks okay. You know, the right side one, that one's fine, but it's this one on this side. It's this right here. This is something I ordered and pretty much bolted up on here. The main reason is to cover up the damage that is hiding underneath this. So I'll get into it later on in the video explaining how it got damaged. It's a long story. It's something that I don't really like talking about, but we'll get into that. So anyways, let me go ahead and knock out the oil change, and then after that, we'll start replacing those pieces. Something I always check too is the oil catch can. I actually drained this one out about a month ago, so it's been a month and I haven't really driven the car, so that's how much it collected. Not too much, but still. All right, fresh oil inside. Just gonna turn on the car, check the oil pressure, let it idle for a little bit, and then check the oil in the engine again. All right, so oil change is done. Next up, I need to go ahead and remove the old cow grills and install these. I'll get into explaining why I need to do that because it was a fiery situation. But before we get into that, real quick, let's talk about what's gonna be coming up for this year. So I actually picked this up a while back. This is a Twisted Grills. I believe that's the name of the company that makes these grills. The guy's name is like Will Pate, if I'm not mistaken. So I might have shown this in one of my previous videos, but anyways, like I said, I picked this one up and I was originally gonna install it on the car, but after like further inspecting this, I actually realized that the grill has some damage. For example, like right there, that piece right there is broken. There's some other things that I don't like about this. I think like back here, like they're supposed to like the sensors are supposed to be clipped in here. There's supposed to be an additional plastic part that actually holds the sensor, and that is attached to this, but I guess that piece got broken. And then one of these pieces here is kind of flimsy. So I didn't really look at this grill very well whenever I picked it up from the person I bought it from. I paid like little over 200 bucks for it. So, you know, I guess that should have kind of gave me a hint as to there was something wrong with it. But originally the guy was selling it for 400 and I brought him down. Anyways, but yeah, so I reached out to Will Pate and he said that I could send in the grill and he would fix all the issues and send it back out to me. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. I just haven't had the time to send it in. I've just been real busy, but anyways. And the main reason why I picked up this one because, you know, the design of the grill will pretty much match up with what's currently on these 14 and 15. The 16 and 17 changes, but anyways, that guy can, you know, make custom designs for the grills. But anyways, I kind of just want to keep it simple. So with this, hopefully it allows a little bit more air to get to the heat exchanger back there. But we'll see. I'll definitely do a video showing like AITs before and after and whatnot, so just to see if there's any difference. And then the other thing too is I really want to get a carbon fiber vented hood. I was looking at the ones from Australia. I think there's a company out there named Beachz. There's a guy here that was trying to get like a couple people together to do a group buy, but that ended up falling through. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is probably going with the Maverick Man carbon one. I'm gonna go with that one. That one has like a vent right here in the center, and then the hood's carbon fiber. So I'm gonna try to get a hold of that one. It's kind of difficult since he doesn't really keep those in stock, and they typically sell out right away as soon as they get posted to the websites. So I think I came up with a way how to actually get my hands on one of those. I'll explain later on. If I ever end up getting a hood, I'll definitely make a video explaining how I got that hood. All right, so let's talk about why I need to replace the cow grill. So unfortunately, about 2 years ago, pretty much like a month or 2 months after we slapped on the LSA, the car caught on fire. And it was something that, you know, really scared me quite a bit. I know it scared my family, so let me just kind of dive into the story real quick. So the main issue was it was the fuel lines. That's what happened. The fuel lines made contact with, I believe it was the positive post, or that runs kind of like behind the fuse box. And the way that my fuel lines were routed, they were pretty close to that. So I remember one day, what I was doing is I was trying to determine where a noise was coming from. So I think what I did is I was taking off the supercharger belt to determine if it was coming from the supercharger. And what I did is I pushed down on the fuel lines, and the fuel lines were long to the point where it pretty much made contact with that positive post. And it wasn't something that happened right away. What happened is, I guess I shoved the fuel lines down and made contact. After I was done doing whatever I was doing, I closed the hood and, I put the car back in the garage. So then I went inside, I think till I used the restroom or something. Came back out to put my wife's car back in the garage. And as soon as I stepped into the garage, that's when I noticed something smelled kind of like burnt plastic. And as I got closer to the car, it just kept getting stronger and stronger. So I immediately knew something was wrong. So I came, opened up the door and popped the hood. And as soon as I went to open up the hood, that's when it just ignited. Flames just kind of shot up, and I kind of went a little bit into panic mode, not gonna lie. The very first thing I did is I ran inside, yelled at the wife and kids. I'm like, yo, get out the house, because I really didn't know what was gonna happen. So, and then I ran back over here, and I didn't know it was a fuel related fire. I didn't know anything, and I didn't have any fire extinguishers. Big mistake. I really wish I had some. Now I do because of this. And I just went and grabbed the water hose again because I didn't know, and I was trying to extinguish the fire out like that, but it wasn't working. So by that time, my family was already outside. The flames just kept getting bigger and bigger. And so I got inside the car, and what I really wanted to do was at least just try to put the car into neutral and push it out. Push it out down the driveway, just at least to kind of try to save the house, or, I didn't want the house to burn down. I had just moved in. So, but the thing is, in order for, I guess in my scenario, and I'm pretty sure this is how it is and for the rest of the cars, but you have to power on the car in order for you to move the shifter. What happened is I keyed on the car, and as soon as I keyed on the car, it turned on the fuel pump. So that only made things worse, and the flame got even bigger. At that second, I made a split-second decision to turn on the car just to get enough momentum to push it out. And so essentially it worked. As soon as I turned on the car, I put it into drive, and it propelled itself just far enough to get the front two tires out the garage. And then the car shut off, and that was enough momentum to actually get the car just moving. And I put it halfway down the driveway, turned it off, and then I came back, and I was actually able to extinguish out the fire. So yeah, that's what happened. The firefighter truck showed up, my neighbors showed up, everybody was here trying to help out. So I got lucky for sure, because things could have went very bad. The whole car could have just blown up, caught on fire as soon as I keyed it on. So my recommendation is get a fire extinguisher. After that day, I went and bought like 4 of them, and I have one inside the car now for sure, and it's on the passenger side floorboard. So definitely, guys, look into getting one. Not something that, I don't want you guys to ever go through, but you just never know. And then the other thing too is, my kid saw it. The good thing is the damage wasn't that bad. I think I was able to really catch the issue early on to the point where like I minimized the amount of damage. And so I think in total, I spent about maybe like $500, and I got everything, replaced, except for the cow grills. These were something I was not able to get my hands on, just mainly because GM, I guess they're discontinued parts. I wasn't able to get it through the dealership or anywhere online. But what I did have to replace was the fuse box cover. Again, this was something I don't think I was able to get through the dealership either. I found somebody that was selling one, so I went and picked it up from them. The hood liner, this side got completely burnt, so I picked up a new hood liner from the dealer. Let's see what else. The fender liner too, I had to get a whole new fender liner. I think those parts are discontinued now too. This wasn't too bad. Like I said, I'm gonna pop this off and I'm gonna show you the damage. And then the cabin air filter completely melted, and then that thing that holds the cabin air filter too, that completely melted. So I got those replaced. Again, I got those through the dealership, and that was pretty much it. So All right, so to take off the cowgirl, it's actually not that hard. You just gotta pop these covers off, take off the nut, and then take off the windshield wiper blades, and then take off these clips, and then pretty much just pull up and the cowgirls come right out. So I got the cowgirl off. I think I'm gonna leave this one. Like I said, I picked up this one too, but this one's actually not damaged. It's only the other one. So I do have a spare. I'm probably just gonna hold on to that. But anyways, this is the one I'm gonna clean up and put back on the car. And this is the one I took off. Now, again, from here, it doesn't look too bad until you start paying attention, like right there. And then when I flip it over, there's some damage right there. So the heat started melting the plastic. So I'm gonna take off these little fasteners right here. All right, so there is some of the damage from up top. So how all of this really started was because the fuel lines made contact with the post back over here. So these are steel braided lines, and inside is PTFE. So the PTFE melted and the fuel just started coming out and ended up pretty much damaging quite a bit of this stuff. Even some of this stuff here is still damaged. Well, it looks burnt, but it's still working. I've tested all of this. So I'm not a big fan of how these fuel lines are ran, but I mean, it gets the job done. And I moved them away from, you know, the post back here. So yeah, so this was the only part I was not able to buy from the dealer, or I couldn't get my hands on for quite some time. What I decided to do was just pretty much get this plaque made and sent to me. I got the idea from, I've seen that some people get the plaques made and they typically would put it on the fuse box cover. So that's where I got this whole idea from. So I decided just to make a shorter one, just edited the image, uploaded the image to this website, and then got this made and sent over. And then I literally just put that on top just to cover up the damage. And it's been like that for like 2 years. But this actually picked it up from a friend. He was working on somebody else's Chevy SS. They're completely, I guess, gutting out the car, so they don't need this anymore. So I went and picked it up. I got really lucky and pretty much got these for free. All right, so let me just go ahead and clean this up and put it back on the car. All right, so I think that wraps it up for today. Now for this, I think I know where I'm gonna put that. Yeah, I think this would go perfect, maybe somewhere up here.